Hello YouTube, what's up everyone, and a huge welcome back to my channel. I am so glad to be here with you guys. And for those of you who are new here, if you do not know, this is the questions and reactions channel, and I discuss topics here that I find interesting and I feel that you would find interesting as well. So going into the topic of today, I'm going to be discussing about expectations. How do you deal with the pressure of living up to the expectation of others? And this topic was inspired by a Reddit post that I came across where someone said the same question: how do you deal with the pressure of living up to the expectation of others? And on this post, I came across a lot of answers to the question. A lot of them seem to be very one-sided. So someone said that I just don't live up to the expectations of others. Another person said I hate being micromanaged. And another person just said, you know, be yourself and stop trying to please other people. Now, I have an opinion regarding the issue of expectations, which some people might find controversial. I personally strongly believe in this opinion. Maybe if you met me 2-3 years ago, maybe I would have said the general rule that, you know, don't live up to the expectations of others. But from personal experience over the last few years, I have learned that living up to expectations is part of life. So I personally think that expectations are a good thing, and if you live up to them, it just shows how resilient and caring you are about yourself and other people. Now, what most people fail to understand, and I think this is where they get to mix things up, living up to expectations is different from living solely for the purpose of pleasing others. I'll give you an example. If you have a job and or you work for a company, the company expects certain things from you. They expect you to be on time to work. They expect you to follow the company's code of conduct, to dress properly, and to speak to customers in a proper manner. Same thing if you're in a school, or basically you know, like you're in everyday life. There are certain rules and regulations that you must conform to. Those are expectations that are put on you, and it's your responsibility to respect and live up to those expectations. Now, when you come into the issue of living solely for the purpose of what people say, then you get into the things of, you know, fake lifestyle, just doing basically anything it is that you can to make people say, oh, this person, you know, is someone I should talk to. This person is of high status, and whatever that is. So living up to expectations is entirely different from living solely for the purpose of people. Now, the thing about living up to expectations and why people say, you know, like it's a bad thing, is some of us grow up in societies where you're expected to follow a certain career path, you're expected to live a certain way, you were basically like expected to have some certain achievements by a certain point in your life. And that is perfectly understandable, because different societies have, you know, different financial majority. And sometimes the people who put these expectations on us, like our teachers or guardians or parents, do this out of a goodwill. They want you to achieve a life that is going to be sustainable for you as an adult, and maybe you could be either like them or better than them when you grow older as a person. And so when it comes to the issue of managing expectations, the best way and my best advice for that is you need to know how to communicate your feelings. So those who are in your life who put these expectations on you, you need to know how to talk to them and say how you're feeling about a certain thing. And maybe there is something else you're thinking about that could, be beneficial. So don't be shy, express your opinion, do it so respectfully. You can tell them that, oh, this is what I think about this, or what do you think? And sometimes maybe there's something good in what you're saying, and when you clearly communicate this opinions and these feelings that you have to people that are in your life, they're more likely to maybe see reason with you and all that. And I think like that is the right thing to do, either being someone who has the expectations put on themselves or someone who is putting the expectations on another person. Same thing with friends and relationships as well. You need to communicate your feelings. Maybe someone expects something from you, one way or another, and maybe it's been something that maybe they have been used to, and maybe at a certain point in time you cannot provide that for them, or you cannot do a certain thing. Then when you clearly communicate your feelings, oh, this is how I am about this. If they are well-meaning people, then they should understand how you feel, and it just, gives you the time to get things in order. Same thing with like when you're feeling overwhelmed with responsibilities, you should know when to press pause and know how to clearly communicate how you feel with family and friends. And that way you'd be able to manage these expectations in a more proper way. And you'd make sure that, everyone is happy at the end of the day. So when it comes to living solely for the purpose of people, see, the thing about living for people is, if you're doing it from a viewpoint of trying to spite people, then it gets to a point where you can only lie for a certain amount of time. Like, it's gonna get back at you at somewhere or another. You're not gonna be able to continuously live a fake lifestyle. And if it's in the case of you're living for people because you're the type who cannot speak your mind, then it's going to be physically and emotionally draining at some point. And you're just going to get to a point where you're going to break down if you don't clearly communicate your circumstances with people that are in your life. You need to know how to clearly communicate these feelings, because at the end of the day, like, it makes sure that everyone understands how you feel and they know why you are not able to meet certain expectations. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with living up to expectations, but just do so in a way that it doesn't affect you as an individual negatively. And I say this because it's important, because if you don't know how to communicate your feelings, then you can fall into a lot of traps, psychological traps. You might have friends or family members or partners that are narcissists, and what they do is, when you cannot meet up to certain expectations for them, then they gaslight the situation. And what happens is that when they gaslight you, you start feeling guilty for something that is entirely not your fault, and they try to put you in such a mental state where you feel that, oh, I'd have to do this just because I need to make them happy. No one should make you feel that way. If you are going to do something for someone, it should be a situation where you are happy to do that for that person and everyone is happy in the end. So when you clearly communicate your feelings, it also helps you to understand people that you're surrounded by. You get to know if they are well-meaning people or if they're just leeches at the end of the day, because a well-meaning person will understand the situation that you're in and will give you the time and energy to, get yourself in order, get your resources in order. But someone who is just a leech, who is trying to leech off you, would just want to gaslight the situation, and that is exactly what narcissists do. So it's important for you to communicate your feelings. So what have we said today? Like, avoid living for people. At the end of the day, like, you don't want to spend your entire life trying to meet up to trends and whatever. It gets tiring and it gets exhausting, you know. Like, there's a point it doesn't even become relevant anymore. And then also know how to communicate your feelings and know when to press pause. And at the end of the day, like I mentioned earlier, there's nothing wrong with living up to expectations. You just have to make sure that you're in the right form of mind and body when you're living up to expectations. And that is how you manage to keep everything and everyone around you, you know, in check. So thank you so much all if you stayed till the end of the video, and remember to drop in a comment if you have any suggestions about what I discussed here today, or any topics that you want me to talk about in the future. If you have not subscribed, subscribe to this channel. You can reach out to me on my socials as well. I will be really glad to hear from you. Like this video, and up until then, you have a fantastic week ahead.